everyone, and oh, now I think it's ready. Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Krishnapriya. This is the Human Colony Hucolo webinar. It's Saturday, the 28th of February, the last day of February. Now I think it's ready. Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Krishna. So good at that. Anyway, I can never catch the recording. Anyway, welcome. This is the last day of February, and today our special guest is me. I'm going to be channeling Theos after a long time of not channeling for Hucolo, but definitely channeling in the meantime. And so welcome to everyone. We have with us in the room a lot of new people, which is awesome. Let me see. We have Yana, Angela, Katlin. We have Manuel, Roberta, Celeste, Susan, and Wendy. And yeah, oh yeah, Manuel, that's who's coming. Great. So hi, everybody. And we will start with no announcements, but just a little announcement. If you would like to support Human Colony, you can go to hucolo.org and then follow the link to become a member. And when you're a member, you get to be here in the Zoom room with us, which is the best place to be on a Saturday morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, or if it's Australia, maybe Sunday morning. But we would love to have you, and it just helps us keep our lights on, so to speak. And we have some planned members only things, but one of the parts of being a member is you're here with us. Your questions are guaranteed to be answered, and for less than a nice cup of coffee, you can have 4 channeling sessions every month, 2 with Jim, 2 with us. And so yeah, so we'd like to invite you. That's hucolo.org. And we have classes, and there is a new website that we have that shows the classes, and that's classes. What is it called, Angie? Thank you. Hold up. Angie made these signs, which I think are really good. So let me spotlight her in case she's not showing to you on the screen. Yeah. Yes, we have a university of not ill repute, but we do have, we don't have, I mean, it's not a certified university, so don't come at me when we're not like certified like Harvard, but we do have classes and they're lovely and you can learn a lot of things. Hucolo-classes.com. So we're getting more sophisticated, yeah, in our old ages. Let me see. Okay, so let's start with some blessings. We'll do Yana, Susan, Wendy, and Celeste. Did you want to do a blessing too? Yes, Yana, we'll start with Yana. We'll end with Celeste, and in the middle will be Susan and Wendy. And Roberta, did you want to do a blessing or not? No, it's okay.
I'm not too sure what I have to do, so I'm just going to observe for now. And
Okay,
as I get more used to it, I will definitely share and
yeah, no problem. Angie, can you watch the YouTube chat or not?
I'm not too sure what.
Arcturus says our membership is way too expensive. And I'm thinking, okay, well,
$10 a month is a cup of coffee or less.
That's right.
Yes.
Or a McMeal from McDonald's. Okay. I'm in a weird mood. All right. Oh, he took away his comment. Come on, Arcturus. All right.
I'll bring up YouTube.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Yana, whenever.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, guys. The Arcturians here. Shtuko ortono kanai te sto onoko ko astarare ke itono tua ka tai te part hante anako ortotu ite ka stekatarti ne ke mai a ort hana ite ko ort haete te ko ortupai to tustuku a aite te ne ko tustupaka ante. Blessings all. They say that that times are changing fast now, and you probably notice the energies are changing fast, and they're basically, in my words, say, hang in there. Okay, blessings. Bye.
Thank you, Arcturians. We'll try. Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
All right. Tia sia ki tutua sia, hi tia ukoa, ye titia su tia kia si kaya utua. He zaya hu tia ye kia tutia ye tia tutia zia uku. Ha zia ye kia tutia ye si tuku tia dia, sia kia koa, ye titia ku titia. He zaya hu ye tia kia kutu ya ti, tia tu kutu ya hia, tia kia kukua. This is Shandar of the White Lions of Lyra, of the ninth dimension. We and your galactic brothers and sisters are here with you always, and we are watching the activities that are upon your planet at this time that are raising your consciousness as a collective, and we support you in this endeavor, and we applaud your efforts. Do not despair as to the chaos that you may see around you, as this is only temporary, that everything is unfolding according to plan for the highest good of all, that this is your consciousness evolution after all, and continue to hold fast to your inner world so that you may manifest what you wish within your own lives, that it is about your path forward, and stay within the divine flow of your soul's evolution, that this is what I have to share at this time. And so please call upon us if you need our strength, that you need our support to uplift you at any time. Blessings.
Hey, Wendy.
Thank you. I'm hearing that it's the creators and there's support from the seraphim. Nuro niara ta ni te kohera ta e shoto era mai ta kai ni te hui fa ta e te kero no che era ta e ro ni chor ni ta e ta era tu. Greetings, beloved ones. We are here to remind you to stay in your light, to shine your light brightly, to shine your light. When you are involved in the realities, the stories of those that are surrounding you, that you look out and think it is a mirror reflection of self, it is not. When you stay with self, if you are standing outside under a tree, there is just you, and the tree will reflect you, the sky will reflect you, the earth will reflect you. Do you see? The cosmic energies of earth are all working in the favor of higher consciousness, the raising of your energies, your physically changing. This is often in the form of illness to overcome. This is all forming in the shape of challenges. And this is because the heaviness must be lifted, must be raised. And so when you are standing within your own light, this gives you the opportunity to assist worldwide, universally. And so we thank you. Our blessings and our love to you. You are as you need to be. Thank you. Wow, I'm shaking.
Okay.
You're
So,
muted, Krishnapriya.
Celeste.
I think.
yes, okay. I have no idea who's comes. Every time is someone different. So here we go. Tushuna tu fur palata timu ha te nanda muhuru tushi ha te na hamana te tu. Huya tushula fubrata te shika ha tu. Tuturu tu manana te hela. Huayate shiwate nane. Namaste. Angie, could you translate for me, please?
It'll be a little bit hard. So try it this time.
Okay. One moment. Yes, hello, dear ones. What it is we have just observed listening to the other people channeling their light language and the messages from Arcturians and everywhere else. And what is happening at this present moment and what will occur for the next few months is a lot of disturbance and anarchy around you. Listen to the rest of the messages, and ours is the same. Stay in your centers, be focused, and be within. And do not get caught up in the whirlwind that is around you. We thank you.
Thank you. I like how she said you try and then you just launched into it. That's awesome.
She's like my mother to me. You know, she says,
Is
sit,
that
I
what's
sit.
happening?
Yeah, that's what happens to me,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I want to share something with you. I live, I don't know if anyone knows, but I stay most of the year in an ashram in India, in Rishikesh at Palmarth Nikatan, which is a quite well-known ashram, and I follow the Hindu faith, and I live a sort of religious life here. It's very much prayers in the morning, and we do all kinds of prayers throughout the day. I teach meditation and all kinds of things. But I was one of the guys who's from Australia had to leave suddenly because unfortunately his mother was ill, and I went to sort of gather stuff from his room, and I found this manual. It's written like in the 40s or 50s, and it's called The Flying Saucers. It's a report on the flying saucers, their crews, and their mission to Earth by George King, DD, which is Doctor of Divinity. And which is interesting is that I didn't know who this was. And this is George King is a New Zealand guy from New Zealand. And he started channeling in 1954, either 1945 or 1954. And I've just basically just read the few pages of it. But it's he started something called the Arthurian Society, and he channeled for, what did he channel for? Let me just, the planetary council or something like that. So he was channeling back then, but I was just going to read you, I just think it's so interesting. He died in 1997. He's from England, and he was bringing forth messages from people from Saturn and people from Venus, which is where he said most of the beings were that he was dealing with. But it's just really interesting that here I am in India, this in this ashram in this sort of remote room happens to be this really old. I mean, you could tell how old it is because of you can tell it was how the old kind of printing that they had. But I just thought it was just so funny. Has anyone ever heard of this guy or?
I have not heard of him, but I just am going to say there are no coincidences. There are no coincidences why you found that, why you started looking at why that was placed there. I mean, that was just because it falls into also who you are.
Okay. Thank you for that. He channeled, his first message came forth in the 8th of May, 1954, and he was in London and he heard the words, "Prepare yourself. You are to become the voice of interplanetary parliament," which is very British, right? To have a parliament, but I think they work with the language that we have. But anyway, so he started channeling, and he's channeled it for his whole life. He died in 1974, I think. No, 1997 he died. So really not so long ago. But I'm interested to read about him and see what he's about. I don't know if anybody in the YouTube chat had ever heard of him. but he apparently had a huge, he was also a psychic, a medium, and did yoga, which is funny because that's what I do. So we should see. I don't see what's happening with Mr. George King there.
No coincidences.
No coincidences. And funny, I'll tell you something. This ashram is old, it's very old, and it's like a city where you're walking down the street, but you have no idea what's behind the doors of the buildings. And you can, it's like in the Netherlands, you can walk down a city street and then you walk through one door and you're actually in a horse farm where they have horse stables and a riding area, and you just think you're walking into like a normal building and then back behind this building. So this is where this ashram is. They've got all these like storage rooms that things have just been piled up for, I don't know, almost 100 years, and you just find some stuff like like you wouldn't believe. Yeah. Oh, Manuel's saying they wear robes and come off like a secret society. They might have been. I mean, the UK was big on their secret societies. They love their mystery schools. They love all that stuff. So I can imagine. I can imagine that there's something. I'll look into them in my copious free time that I don't usually have. So, but I am interested. Just the fact that I found it amongst papers. So anyway, so I'm going to channel Theos, and for those of you who don't know, I've been channeling for really publicly since about 2012, and Theos is my higher self. They do not have bodies. They've never been incarnated. They really are that sort of part of me that's the larger part of me that is, is if you thought of like the higher self and then what sort of funnels down, I'm their projection into this world, basically. And they are, if you visualize them, I would say they look sort of Arcturian, but they wouldn't claim Arcturian. They don't claim any kind of identification with race or background, but they are really on that sort of edge between existence and non-existence. They're the sort of, I had this, one time they told me that they were sort of just that first incarnation beyond thought. So they're very connected to the fullness of who we are. And Theos means God, but they didn't say to me they're God. What they said is they're my knowledge of God. They are that which I know, the Theos of knowledge of who we are, what we are, and why we're here. But they take any questions, they'll answer any questions. They like, more questions of the heart. But if you have, I don't know how versed they are in the wars of the universe, but they probably might have something to say about it. They have a lot to say about what's going on in the universe right now, the universe of this world that we're in and everything we're going through as a species. But I'm happy to share them with you, and just take me a minute to channel. Angie's gonna take questions, whatever questions you have. Yeah, just throw them at me or throw them at them, and we'll be happy to take them. So okay. And also the YouTube chat as well. I was sitting with my feet up. I don't think that's the best way to channel. Let me take a sip of coffee. All right. All right. Just one moment.
Thank you.
We are Theos, and we are so very pleased to be here with you in this moment, in this now, in this spectacular time of humanity. We would like to share with you just some words of encouragement. We liked what Celeste's friends shared, to just don't worry so much and hang in there, because that's basically what everyone needs to do. There's so much unfolding right now that it's hard to keep track. And whatever you focus on is like one rabbit hole, and then there's another rabbit hole and another rabbit hole, and you can spend your days falling into confusion, into uncertainty. So pick and choose what you want to observe and what you want to absorb. This time is a great time of, and had you talked with us years ago, we wouldn't have expressed this, but now it's different. We really are in a great time of darkness, and there's just as much light, though, as darkness, though the light gets obscured by your focus. But right now, the world is purging and unleashing and releasing all that has been there but been hidden. And it's a lot to take in. Your job is to hold your light steady, to hold yourself in a centered place where you truly now are the observer, where you notice but don't dive in, where you notice and then you say, yes, this is something that I want to engage with, but always doing it from a place of centeredness so that it's conscious choice, conscious action, rightful choice, rightful action, and it's not reactive. Because reaction comes most of the time out of shock and out of fear. And this is the time to act out of love. So we want to echo, hang in there, but we would like everyone to really focus on being as grounded in truth, is grounded in light, and is grounded in love that you've ever been. Yes, know what is going on. Yes, take action where needed. And yes, you will make it through. You will make it through. Some people, making it through, we mean ultimately your soul will never be taken. There will be people that pass in this time of life. There will be people that go off in different directions that you couldn't have expected, but we all will make it through. We're eternal, and this is part of our journey. We're in a time which is a cyclical time. Time is not a straight line. It really is a cycle. Excuse us. We sneeze because it's true. Time is really a cycle, and time is cyclical. And this is a time to release the shadow so we can move better into the light. And we just want to share that with you. So we love you, and we want you to know you're loved. And we're ready for any questions that anyone may have, whether they have them or not. Come up with something, because we definitely have a lot to say.
Thank you so much. One question that I have, and I'm wondering if you could please touch on it, is so many people are, told that they have this mission and that mission and this mission and that mission, and that they are going to be doing. What can you talk to them about? What is the true mission of the self?
Okay. Thank you. That's a beautiful question. What we'll share is the true mission of the self. And we'll talk in terms of Hinduism. Here's your primer in Hinduism for those who are not Hindu, but this is the perspective of the channel. So we'll share as she would share. We're talking about what's called Dharma. Dharma with the big D is your ultimate path. And then you have Dharma, which is with the little d, which can be little things that you need to do or supposed to do and should do in your life. So your little dharmas are things like being a mother, being a daughter, being a friend, being a neighbor, having a job. These are things that you do because they're part of who you are. And you can have many dharmas and they can change. There's not just one thing. There's not just one thing that we are, that we're supposed to do, that we have to do. You can be a dog owner or a cat owner, and that is a dharma for you. That is a duty, you can also say. Your big dharma, however, is the dharma of the soul. And the dharma of the soul is to have the realization of yourself as divine, to know yourself. That is the highest dharma that you could have, that you can follow. Now, there are other dharmas that are things like something that you feel compelled to do, that you know that you must do for yourself, for humanity, for the world. It's not necessarily your job. And we want to make that distinction that your dharma as a mission, if you're talking about it in the sense of a mission, may be to help enlighten humanity in some way. How is you find out as you go, but it's sort of where life sort of steers you towards, so that the path that you're trying to forge is usually very open, and any other path that you're trying to get down that's very close to you is definitely really not your dharma, because the way is made for you in your mission. So if you're knocking yourself out trying to do something and nothing is moving, no doors are opening, the universe is not sort of coming to you with synchronicities and wonderful ways for you to suddenly be doing something, whether it's good or bad or hard or whatever. If it's not opening up for you, that's probably not your dharma. That might be your ego saying, oh, wouldn't it be great if? And if you look at your mission as a way to become well known, as a way to become famous, as a way to become Insta famous and all of these things, that's probably not your dharma. That's probably an ego want. You're perfectly able to follow that if you'd like. There's nothing to say that you shouldn't become an influencer or a movie star or whatever it is you would want to do that would bring, prestige to you. But if you're talking about you want something to be your mission, it's that thing that you have to do, because if you don't do it, you can't breathe. It's that thing that you wake up and you say, I have to impact the world in this positive way. I'm compelled to do it. And if you don't know what that is, it's not the time for you to know. It's simply not the time. And the thing about dharma, your mission, it's rarely one of those things that you hunt down. You don't find it because someone tells you that's your mission, unless it's a really sort of, knowledge from on high kind of notification of like this guy who's, hey, you're going to be the spokesperson for the planetary parliament or whatever he was doing. But it's something that calls to you, and it can be temporary. It doesn't have to be a lifetime. It can be a very temporary mission. If you think about someone like Jesus, his mission really came online between 27 and 33, and he was out. It's not always the longest mission. We're so focused on those years of his life, of Jesus's life, but his life was quite short in totality, and his mission itself was quite short as well. So you can make a very big impact in the world in a very short amount of time, but it doesn't have to be your life. And we would really like people to understand that your dharma, your mission, is not always going to be that thing that pays your bills. That's really, it could be, but most of the time is not. It's most of the time something else. So this idea of I have to do something that's fulfilling, I have to do something that I have to do my mission for my job. It's nice if that can happen, but it's not always the case. Your dharma might be to take care of your elder parent, or your dharma might be to push a law through that helps humanity. That might be your dharma because you see a need, you feel compelled to make a change in that thing, and then you are driven. And when you're not taking action towards that, you really have a hard time functioning. You really do. It's very difficult. If you don't do it, you can't stand it because it's calling you, calling you, calling you. So if you do not know your mission yet, it's probably not the time for it. Or if you do know your mission and you don't want to do it, there's probably a lot of discord and disharmony in your life because there's that thing that you should be doing that you haven't taken action or steps towards. So we hope that answered your question.
It did. Thank you so much. That was
Yeah.
definitely very helpful.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
just to add one little thing with we have little dharmas that we need to fulfill as well. We need to take care of the things in our life. Some of our dharma is going to school or learning or educating ourselves or taking a certain kind of job that brings money so that you can take care of your family. Taking care of your family is also a dharma. So there's the thing of doing your duty to yourself because of the harmony and peace and the well-being it brings. And then again, there's the big dharma of spending time in meditation and really getting to know the truth of who you are. Because from that standpoint and from that operating system of I am a divine being having a human experience, you make different choices. And then the other dharmas that you may have, the missions you have, come online, you know. So we would say that a mission is really karma yoga, which is a yoga of action. And the meditation would be yan yoga, the yoga of knowledge. So we would say there's many yogas that you will do in your life, and there's many dharmas and many paths, and you probably have many, many missions. Some big, some small, but all very important for you. So
Thank you. That was very well explained, because I'm sure that a lot of us here, even those that are listening and watching, everybody wonders, well, why am I here? What am I doing? Why is this all happening to me?
yeah, well, we're ultimately here to remember that we're not separate from the all that is. We talk in Hinduism about people say, oh, you believe in many gods, but Hinduism is a monotheistic religion. It believes that all is one. So there's nothing outside one. There's just like you can be a sister, a mother, a daughter, a wife, a teacher, all these different hats. We believe in that everything is a representation of the divine. So whether we call it Shiva or Ganesha, or we go into other religions, or we call it Zeus or whatever, it's all part of the one. That's the reason that we steered Krishnapriya towards Hinduism, because these are the principles that we have been teaching her whole life. And she found the terminology within the Hindu belief system. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well,
Catalin, I'm going to have you go next. Remember, we're only going to do up to 2 questions, and then we need to move on because we're doing shorter time periods. So thank you. Go ahead, Catalin.
Okay, thank you. Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly.
Okay. I want to expand on. Uh, I want to make some money because I have some health problems, but I'm in let's say in a stuck position, and I want your input.
On making money?
Yes, but I have some health issues, and no, and I still want to make money, and I want some ideas, something to pay the bills, let's say.
Understood. So We are not a financial advisor, but we will give you the first thing that sounds like advice that comes to mind. What's accessible now in this time of 2026? What would be the easiest thing that is possible to do? We instantly would say to you, you have a unique situation going on with your health, but you are not alone. And we don't mean you're not alone in the way of we support you, which we do, but we mean you're not alone in facing challenges. And one of the best things that you can do with what you have at this time is share your experiences with other people who are also having those experiences. And you can build community, which is, we know from other webinars that you tend to have been a little bit more isolated because of your condition. You're not out in the world as much as you would have wanted to be. So
I have
beautiful time.
seizures.
Yes,
Seizures.
exactly. Yes. So in this
So
beautiful
you know this.
well, we don't know everything about you, but we know what you've said about you. And so we're just trying to give you something that is actionable now
Okay.
with what
Okay.
you can do based on your question of, I want to make money. So what we would say to you is that your superpower, if we can use that terminology, is to share what you know about yourself, about your own experience, and to document it. Document it in the form of reels so that it's on, say, YouTube or TikTok or Facebook in a way that you can build a community of support. And once you build an audience of people, and we are saying this based on the fact that Krishnapriya went on a very deep dive looking at people with, say, schizophrenia or multiple personality disorders and all of these things. And these people are very beautifully enlightened. They are lovely people, and they're sharing their story, not only to other people that are like them and building community and support, but also for people who don't know anything about this. There's such a wealth of knowledge that they're sharing, and they're building huge platforms of people following them just because their stories are interesting. It's outside of what most people know. For some people, it's right on the money for what they know, and they're building these audiences. And so they have what is called in social media reach. And once you have a certain amount of reach, whether it's 100,000, 200,000, and Krishnapriya is laughing that we are giving social media influencer advice, but we are. So once you have a reach, advertisers come. And that's when you start to make money. And on TikTok, depending on views, you start to make money. And you are not doing something that is impossible for you to do because it's within your capability. You probably don't have to leave your house, but you can be outside. And these are things that you can do with your phone. And these are things that you can do to make money starting very quickly. Within a few months, you could be making money. And so if your desire is to make money, you need to take action. Money is not going to come to you. It's not going to drop on your head. But with a little bit of action, using what you have with you right now, you can make money. And we would say use what you have and don't let your experience be the inhibitor, but let your experience be that which brings you closer to what you want. And as you start to share about yourself and about what you're doing, what you're experiencing, we also have the strong suspicion that you will know yourself even better. Because as you talk about who you are, you get to know you. And you'll find your strengths and you'll find your confidence and you'll find those things that have been suppressed a little bit by what you're going through. So this is really a call for you to master your situation and monetize it a little bit so that you can kill two birds with one stone, though we don't believe in killing birds. So
the thing is, I have something is short-circuiting, and
we
I can
understand that, but
remember.
what we're saying to you is that in order for you to get what you want, you have to take action. And that's simply a decision. And we're not going to really allow you to argue for your limitations in this conversation because it's much too short. But you
Okay.
asked us a question and we feel like we gave you something that is something you can do and execute based
Okay.
on just your
Okay.
own unique experience. We encourage you
Thank you.
to consider it. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. That goes for anybody who's facing anything, whether it's depression or mental illness or disability, or just I'm a teacher and I teach these kind of students, and this is a day in the life of a teacher going to school. There's all kinds of beautiful things. We're in such a time where everybody wants to know everything about everyone. And so share yourself. Only you can be you, and no one can be you better than you. And there's something to be gained by humanity with you sharing yourself, your experience, and there's something for you to gain as well. And we feel like if you go at it with the best intention of I'm going to be honest and truthful and uplifting, but honest, then you have a lot to say and people will want to hear it. So that's our answer.
Thank you so much for that. That was very, very, helpful, I'm sure, to many, many people, because there are a lot of people who are struggling. There are a lot of people who are in this exact situation. So
Yeah, and
thank you for that.
the situation is now, money and because of the way the world is going, the way things are compressing, there's money in certain pockets of the world now. And this is just something, this is a transition that is moving so very fast. But it's for everyone to sort of establish themselves now as their own generator of what they are. And there's many things that can be done. It doesn't have to be everybody walking around with a selfie camera, talking about their lives, but I don't know one person in this whole group that's not interesting. And so there's a lot to be shared and there's a lot to be given. And again, in talking about yourself and sharing from your heart.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Susan has a question.
Yes, we're going to take a turn.
Hello. Yeah, what you were just saying resonates. I just watched a video about a woman who started a snail mail club where she, for like $11 a month, she sends out just an envelope with like a recipe, a poem, maybe like a little small like stickers or, not much. And she has like a huge following and like 4,000 people a month that she's sending just snail mail to, just regular mail, and that people are wanting to return to like non-digital or analog, as they call it, type contact, contact or community or, connecting with people's vulnerability. Like she'll share things on social media, about just, things that happen in her day, or like showing your vulnerability, sharing your story is something that people are looking for, that authenticity. And so what you just said totally resonates with what I've seen too. So,
Yeah,
like
there's
sharing who you
something
are.
nice about being real, and people are tired now of that perfect, the perfect Instagram person who has no flaws, no pores, no nothing. And everyone knows that, filters are king in that area, but
Yeah.
it's so artificial. And what people are craving as you all have moved into a more digital, we're here in this webinar also digital and knowing each other so well, but rarely seeing each other. And it is a beautiful way to communicate, but it should not be a substitute for real life connection. And people are craving it so much more these days. And so, whatever you can do in whatever way to connect to people so that people don't feel alone, it's so empowering and so important. And probably one of the biggest, I don't, It's not to say that it's a market, but in fact it is a market, but it's a beautiful market to be in, connection, the market of connection, as opposed to that which is trying to manipulate and influence in a negative way, or, play on fear. You want to connect and uplift and empower, as opposed to beat down, tell people they're not good enough, they're not thin enough, that their hair is not this enough, that they don't have enough money, or they're not this, they're not that. But community is very important. And we've got enough
Yes.
of the other stuff. So go the other way. Yeah.
Yes. So my question is, I adopted a female calico cat named Chloe Angel last November, and um, a friend of mine saved her uh, from euthanization at the local humane society. But anyways, but she has very high vibrational angelic energy. She's so full of joy and energy and love. And I read something or heard it in a video that our pets are part of our oversoul, or like an aspect of our oversoul. And I'm just wondering if you have any insights on that, as far as I know that they come into our lives, that we have an agreement at a soul level, and they're here to like teach us about love, or about worthiness, or self-love. Like there can be different reasons why they enter into our lives. So, and I lost two other female cats last year, and I just have my boy cat Shanti left, and then she, like within 5, 6 weeks after my second girl cat passed away, Chloe Angel entered my life, and but she definitely feels like that new earth energy, like high, very high vibrational. And I'm just wondering, yeah, if you can speak as to if our pets are part of our oversoul, and if kind of what their mission is, or what our connection might be, um, why she's
Well,
come into
just
my life at this
we
time.
want to stop you really quickly,
Okay,
because
I know I'm
we've
throwing a lot
observed you
out
for
there.
we've observed you for a very long time. And we just want to say that as much as we chuckle at the idea that you forget who you are constantly. And part of your knowledge should be that you are part of everything. You are, if you believe, as we say, to be true, and we believe this is true, we know it's true, but it's up to you to know it for yourself, that everything is one. There's nothing outside of the one. The one doesn't even have an edge. Everything exists within that. So you are as much Krishnapriya and Theos as you are Susan. And you are as much this beautiful little angel butterfly being, cat that she is, as you are Susan. And of course, she's part of you. She is in your life because she's part of you, but she's in your life because she's part of everything. And there is not one thing that you encounter, whether it's a being that you channel, or a past life that you have, or a past incarnation or a future incarnation that might be, but they're all part of you. And there's no hierarchy truly in connection. You're just connected. And she's chosen through your friend to come into your life. And it was sort of like, who wants to be Susan's pet? Me. It went like that. And so your soul needed that. The part of you needed that nurturing that she can only give you. And she needed the part of you that only you can give her. So whatever we encounter in our life, it's part of that. I can be this part of your life, and you can be that part of my life. So like magnets, you're drawn together, maybe across time, but you are drawn in that way. It's interesting if we look at the dynamics of human colony, how every person here has a role and has been together for quite some time now. Most people have been around in Human Colony for several years, including our lovely people in YouTube. You know, we're one group, we're one family, and we are just as much a part of each other as the individuals that we are. So, of course, she's part of you. Of course, she's supposed to be in your life. We chuckle at the idea that you would question if that's true. It is true because she's there. If she wasn't, she wouldn't be there. But that's the beautiful stuff, that she gets to be there around you. But there's also the challenging stuff, the challenging people that we deal with. They're also us. They're also part of us, you know. And so we would really remind you and remind all of you that there's no thing outside of one. We've said so many times, we think it's a very good analogy, is that if you close your eyes, and maybe you want to close your eyes for just a second, this isn't a meditation, but if you close your eyes, it kind of encapsulates you in your head for a moment. But whatever your thinking is, and we are standing in the perfect mind of the divine. We are God's creation. And we are little creators ourselves, and we're able to create because we are that divine. But there's nothing but the divine. Nothing. So if there's nothing but the divine, you are in fact divine, and she is divine, and we are divine. And Angie and Susan, and we said your name again, but Yana and everyone in the chat, Manuel, everyone is divine, and we're all one. We're really one, but we're all running around having our own experiences because the one is really efficient and likes to delegate within its own self so that it can have as many experiences, as many different ways of being. But of course, she's part of you. Whether she's, we'd like to dispel this idea that your oversoul contains so much and that it's exclusively yours. It's not. It's exclusively everyone's. So that's why so many people have memories of being Mother Mary or experiences of being this or being that, because we're in fact all of it. And what we need to pluck out of the universe that helps us in this life and this time, those teachings are what comes through to us. That's why we don't have a full memory of all past lives, because some of it's really irrelevant to our here and now moment. But we would remember maybe in another lifetime. And in another lifetime, maybe we'll remember this lifetime. So, of course, she's come close to you because of the journey that she'll have with you in this life and for the time that she's here. And it's a beautiful thing. And if she wasn't supposed to be in your life, we absolutely promise you she would not be.
Thank you for
Hanging with the
that.
guy across the street, you know?
Yeah, no, I
Right.
definitely feel that she's a blessing and has lifted my energy and my boy cat's energy. Like she's brought so much joy and love into our lives. So yeah, it's definitely been a blessing. So
An
um,
honor to know.
I'll let
Um,
you I'll let you continue on to the next question. If there's time later, I might come back with the second
Thank you.
question. But
Thank you.
thank you so much, Theos. Much love.
Mm.
Wendy, I'm going to have you go. We don't have a lot of time left. So, yes, thank you.
Greetings, Theos. The question that I have is related to the new babies that are coming in this year and the impact that they're going to have on the energies of the earth and the people that they are directly with and or, extended family. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the question. We'll just say this is an interesting time because you're having now children born into a world that is way different than it was even 5 years ago, and is accelerating at an incredible pace. And children born into any era or any time period are made for that time, because we do sort of choose our incarnation. So there are people that came in the 50s because they wanted to experience the 50s kind of life. And there are people that came in the 2000s because they wanted to experience the 2000s. And you can go all through time, and not one child born in any time period was out of place. So we would say it only stands to reason, of course, and in the beautiful workings of the universe, those souls that have decided to jump in now are jumping into a much different world than their parents were born into, or even their older siblings will have been born into. And it'll be interesting to see over the next 5 to 10 years how the world is. But these children will be a product of it. The most important thing now is the parents to be prepared to bring them in to this world, support them, and to equip them with, most of all, self-confidence, stability, safety, and love, so that they have the ability to grow up in a safe environment, that they're nurtured, that they're confident, that they feel loved, because loved and happy children are explorative, they're curious, they're conscious, they're not, we don't want children growing up in a society of fear. And right now humanity is, this is what our opening speech was about, and this is what Celeste's friends were saying, that we have to stand in our truth now. We have to know who we are now, because it's not so much about the children that are coming in. They can't be of any other time than the time that they're born. They're born here to experience this time. That is their dharma of their path. To be in our dharma is also, we were saying earlier about, it's all these paths, but your dharma starts at the time that you hit the world. Your dharma is to be in this time period that you're born. Their dharma is to be in this time period that they're born. So of course, they're going to be able to take it all in. But as the stewards of the children that are coming, the parents, the community, it's our jobs to nurture and give them what they need so that they can stand in this world. And it goes just beyond taking care of them with food. It means taking care of the environment, taking care of laws, and taking care of society in a way that they have a fighting chance. So yes, these children are coming in, and they're going to be much different than any of us sitting here. Well, any of you, we are sitting somewhere else, but any of you sitting here. And they're going to be fascinating to watch. They're going to be smarter, faster, and more equipped than we ever were, and than we'll ever be. So they're definitely going to be special. But you were special in your moment as well, in your time of birth. And we are giving them the world they're being born into. So we have to take responsibility for that part. What are we bringing them into? How are we setting them up for success? And we don't mean financial. We mean to grow up in a way that they can impact the world in a positive way and have a beautiful experience themselves. So teaching them kindness, teaching them love, teaching them social awareness, teaching them that they were all one, so they're not growing up racist. They're not growing up with these ideas of we are better, but they're growing up with this idea of how can I make my world and the world a beautiful, harmonious, fantastic experience for all of us, And that's what we should be asking ourselves about the children coming in. How are we making this world great for them? so that they have a chance, you know. So
Thank you so much. Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
It is 12:02. We have one
Yes, but
question
we
left.
did
Yeah.
have about 20 minutes of talk and
Yes. So,
prayers.
yes. It was about, yes. I think if we did Celeste and then that should cover it.
Are there
So
any questions in the YouTube chat as well?
there is only one.
Okay, well, we'll do Celeste and then the one question.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, hello, greetings, Theos.
Greetings.
Yes, it's been what, 8 years since we last spoke, I remember, if I remember correctly. Okay, talking about incarnations and aspects, wonder if you could help me out here. I know that this is my last karmic incarnation on this planet Earth.
Okay.
And at the same time, I know I will be coming back. Do you have any idea as to which form I may be coming back, on which, at best, which continent?
We're going to borrow a story for you that will help you. And we feel that you're going to come back onto the earth, but we'll tell you why and we'll tell you how by telling you somebody else's story. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So Puja Swamiji, who you may know, Puja Swami Chittanand Saraswati Ji, who is the head of Parmarth Nikatan Ashram. Krishnapriya is all excited because she has something to contribute. So we're telling this story that she's been told, but it's a beautiful story and it applies to you. So Puja Swamiji is one of the rare beings that is truly enlightened on this earth. He really is. And you can learn all about him, but he is a truly enlightened being. And he's having fun being human. He's doing a lot of things. His dharmas are to empower women and girls, giving them schools, to bring water to communities that don't have it, to do all kinds of programs to clean up the environment. There's just a countless number of initiatives that he's taken on, that he does. And he's one of those people who just says, we're going to put a school there, and the donors come, the money comes, and he doesn't worry about it. And now there's a school there. And there's these things that he does and he's done his entire life that are direct results of his ability to just manifest because of his enlightenment. And there's this beautiful man who was always his photographer. He's always following him, photographing him, and has been photographing him his whole life. And he was quite like you, and he said, I'm not going to come back in this incarnation again because I'm done. But he's a devotee of Puja Swamiji, and he's Puja Swamiji's photographer. And he says, well, I guess I have to come back because Puja Swamiji's coming back. But I'll come back more enlightened. So you'll probably have your enlightenment, true transcendence, maybe at the moment before your death or maybe at your death. And then when you do choose to come back, you'll be doing it truly out of a conscious choice, and you'll come back with the full awareness of who you are. And then it's a whole other game, Celeste. Then you're walking around and you have full awareness of who you are. Can you imagine growing up as a child with the awareness of who you are versus a child just trying to figure out how to tie their shoes? You know, it's a totally different ball game. And you can see how your life has transitioned as you've become more awake, more aware, more aligned with your true self, how it changed from the first part of your life into this part of your life now. But can you imagine if you came in with that knowledge and with that awareness? So we feel, and we don't want to disappoint you, and you can always make a different choice, but there'll be some part of you, some aspect of you, of your soul. You may incarnate on another planet or in another place, but we do feel like you'll do one more lap around this place because you want to see it from the perspective of true awareness. And you'll see the beauty of it. And you'll work to clean up and enhance and give life and nurturing to the parts that are not so beautiful. Because ultimately, everybody needs to get there. Everybody needs to wake up. So they'll need people like you who have that awareness, who can share it and hold that space in the midst of everything going on. We will share something with you that you may or may not come back in a future time. You may choose to come back in the past. That will leave up to you, where you decide to play as a fully aware, enlightened, avatar-ish being. You may jump around, and by that point, you may or may not need to have a body. You might manifest as needed wherever you are, your body. So you might come back 100 years from now or 500 years ago. We will leave that up to you. That'll be purely out of your own choice and your own awareness.
To be perfectly honest, I don't even want to leave this incarnation. I'm loving it so much because the path that I'm on at this present moment. And I also do know I will come back. I want to come back. So thank
you've
you.
already spoken it into being.
Yes, and I constantly see Babaji.
That's beautiful.
He comes into my awareness a lot. Thank you very much, Krishnapriya. Thank you, Theos.
You're welcome.
We have just one question from YouTube.
Okay.
It says, thank you for your session today. Is gold and silver one of the main money pockets for the future? Thank you.
Well, we don't do futures as far as predictions for the market, but gold and silver have always been very solid investments. But we don't give investment advice. What a lovely question.
Yes, thank you.
We would say we would advise you to consult a financial advisor.
Right.
Oh, I just had to come back because my phone is ringing. What is this? One moment. I'm so sorry. Oh, this is potential spam. So we're not going to answer. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we're not answering.
That's a perfect ending then. That's a perfect ending.
Nothing like being pulled out of a channeling state by a telephone call.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say thank you for some beautiful information today. Thank you for allowing Theos to come and speak and help people on their path of who they are. So that's really truly what all of these channeling classes are, is helping the people to see the true self of who they are.
Well, thank you very much for that. Thank you. We're just reading some comments. I'll address them when we go offline. But much love to you. I'm so happy to share Theos with you. And next week we'll see who's going to be here. It should be a fantastic session. So everyone stay safe. The world's kind of topsy-turvy at the moment, but we love you. We always have a nice space here for you. So, all right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Krishnapriya. Thank you, Theos.
Thank you.